So a few years ago, I wrote a book on Ikigai. That was my first English language book. This is a translation into some language. Uh, Maybe, well, I don't know. Yeah, well, anyway, some language. So that was my first, full English language book. But I have actually written many books in Japanese. Probably I have published more than 200, 300 books in Japanese so far. I have even written a novel titled Pentimento. Pentimento is when a painter regrets what he or she has painted and you know paint it over and start over again. That's Pentimento. And this novel is about the regrets and alternative paths of life that we may encounter in the course of our life. And so I have written even a novel, actually two novels in this book. The other one is called French Exit. Yeah, enticing title, isn't it? So this is a novel written by me, for me, not for me, for the readers, and but this is written in Japanese, and so Japan is a really fascinating country in many ways, and one of the situation that we have here is that we have a sufficiently large market after we have 120 million people in Japan. So the market is fairly large. So the dilemma for a Japanese author is that if you write in Japanese, you can have this, you can have access to this relatively uh, large market, and so that's what I have been doing all my life, almost all my life, until I wrote this book on Ikigai a few years back. Although um, I was thrilled to see my book translated into 29 languages and published in 31 countries. This dilemma still remains whether I should write in Japanese or in English. And I'm fairly busy. I do a lot of things, and writing a book takes a lot of time, and so this language policy is very difficult for me. And but gradually I'm working out. I sometimes asked if there is when is my next English book coming, and I'll tell you what. My agent, a certain Mister, he wants to be anonymous. So, well, a certain Mister Anonymous, based in Tokyo. He's actually an Australian. Well, I can say that. Yeah, he's Australian. He's really, how do you say that? He's a perfectionist, let's say. So we haven't actually finalized plans for my next book. Actually, I might just write it and show it to my agent, Mr. Anonymous. He's such a perfectionist, so that he's very slow in processing book prosas and so on. Meanwhile, I have co-authored, I'm going to co-author a book. It's a dialogue book with an Italian author, Thomas. Um, Maybe I mentioned in one of my video blogs earlier. So anyway, so the question is, how should I write as an author? Should I write in Japanese? Should I write in English? The funny thing is that my book on Ikigai has been translated back into Japanese. I've written it in English, and it has been translated into Japanese. So that's probably a way to explore in the future. But anyways, I'll have to write some novels in English too. But we'll see. I have only a limited amount of time, and language policy is so difficult. In this world, everything is global, but on the other hand, you have all these languages, different languages, and Japanese happens to be my native tongue, and I acquired English over the years, but there's this subtle nuance of really difficult language policy still in my life, and so I think compared to those people whose native tongue is English, I think I am living a more complex language life, and I suspect that it is the experience of many people all over the world whose language, native tongue is not English, and so maybe there's a universal experience there. Anyways, so enough babbling for the moment, and so please look forward to, if you will, please look forward to my next book in English. I hope, fingers crossed, it will soon come.